Preview.
You know those movies where two characters switch bodies, learn a life lesson, and then return back to their normal selves a better person? Driver San Francisco is kind of like that, only you're not really switching bodies with people to learn any sort of life lesson. You're just doing it to steal cars, like constantly, one after the other. It's called shifting, and it's pretty much the core of this game. See, Driver San Francisco is a car-obsessed game that doesn't really care much about the constraints of reality. And it also happens to be one that takes place in a city famous for its amazing car chases. That recipe leads to some pretty crazy stuff, especially when you take the game online. So let's talk about some of the ways that you can shift into other cars on the fly in a competitive atmosphere. First up, there's a game mode called Tag, where one player starts by being it and tries to race off without getting smashed into by a rival player. When you do get smashed, the other guy becomes it. The longer you stay it, the more points you get, and thus better your chances of winning. Problem is, every other player besides the one who's it can shift into any car on the road, meaning you might be driving along only to see a car in an oncoming lane suddenly turn into your opponent out of nowhere, who then proceeds to swerve into you like a maniac. That's Tag in a nutshell. It's absolute chaos. Absolute chaos, but in a good way. Next up is Takedown, similar to Tag, but with sort of a cops and robbers feel to it. One guy starts out as the robber, while everyone else, driving cop cars, tries to smash into him until his health bar just can't take it anymore. As a cop, you're working with your buddies to take the guy down, but you're also selfishly trying to inflict the most damage as you can. It's like you're a real-life traffic cop, but instead of being reprimanded for collateral damage, you're rewarded in spades. Next we have Trailblazer, where you and your competition are trying to follow an AI-operated car. It's basically got magical pixie dust spewing out of the exhaust pipe, so you're constantly jostling with your opponents to stay in that trail of magical pixie dust in order to get as many points as possible. Once again, shifting and smashing are big themes here, as any car that gets nudged out of the trail is always trying to shift into a car up the road to get revenge on his opponents. Finally, there's a couple straightforward race modes called Sprint GP and Classic Race. Sprint GP puts you and your opponents in a series of short technical sprint races in different sections of San Francisco, while the Classic Race is exactly what you think it is. The twist, or lack thereof, is that you can't shift cars in these two race modes, so you're going to have to put your honest-to-goodness driving skills to the test. You can still feel free to smash into other people, though. Smash all you want. And that's Driver San Francisco, a slightly batty game that actively encourages you to drive like a maniac and use bizarre, otherworldly powers to enhance that craziness. You'll be able to join in on the craziness yourself when Driver San Francisco is released next month.